Good morning from Moscow. Let me start by focusing on one quotation from Vladimir Putin. Several of this morning's papers print it, so clearly the Kremlin is keen for Russians to hear it. It's something he said yesterday to Russian MPs and senators in St. Petersburg. Let me take the quote from the government newspaper, Rossiyskaya Gazeta. To fixate on prohibitions, restrictions, the development of new penalties for offenders. Of course, it's kind of necessary. It is necessary to protect the interests of consumers in all senses of the word. But to obsess about this is counterproductive, he said. Putin stressed that excessive barriers hinder development. These are all temporary, transient phenomena, but Russia is eternal, and our legislation should be flexible, dynamic, progressive, and future-oriented. Prohibitions, restrictions, counterproductive. Putin bans MPs from banning, as Moskovsky Komsomolets puts it. What should we read into this? Is this suddenly a new Putin? The heralding of a political thaw after years of prohibitions and restrictions and repressive legislation? There is no evidence to support that. When Vladimir Putin hints to lawmakers, go easy on the prohibitions, keep in mind that he's the one who signs all of these bills into law. What's more, much of the legislation prohibiting and restricting things in Russia is believed to start life in the presidential administration. This feels more like an attempt by the president to present himself to the people as, if you like, the good Tsar on the side of the Russian people. Recent data from a state-run pollster shows that Mr. Putin's approval rating has been falling for 7 weeks. Internet restrictions have proved deeply unpopular. There is growing fatigue with the war in Ukraine. There's concern about the economy. But no, there is no sign of a political thaw. Indeed, in comments last week, the Kremlin leader made no apology for disruption caused by internet restrictions, claiming that these were necessary for people's security. No sign of a thaw weather-wise either. The snow returned to Moscow yesterday with a vengeance. The headline in Komsomolskaya Pravda, "Snowpocalypse now." And there's a big chill running through the Russian economy. Nezavisima Gazeta, investment crisis becoming increasingly difficult to mask. Even the government's cautious forecasts already signify the collapse of certain industries by tens of percent. It's becoming harder to gloss over the investment crisis in the Russian economy using statistical methods. The first sign was in the construction industry, which risks lying at the bottom for several years. The situation in the economy is developing in such a way that the investment crisis may turn out to be much deeper than even the government's conservative, unfavourable forecast. The headline in RBK, "The Big Pessimism of Small Business." A new survey by the Centre for Strategic Research shows that half of all micro-businesses make no profit. Even more alarming data comes from the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. In the first quarter, 65% of enterprises made no profit. Finally, to the joke section of Komsomolskaya Pravda. Can you tell me, where can I get a low-interest long-term mortgage? In 2018. And here's a joke from yesterday's edition on the subject of inflation and, I think, internet restrictions. In the Duma, Russia's parliament, they have demanded that the verbs to go down in price and to unblock be removed from Russian dictionaries. MPs explained that these words are now out of date and no longer in use.